Okay, equations of a circle. So first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that we understand the formulas here. These are the main formulas. Where the center is like you're solving it. So this would be x equals a, and then y minus b would be y equals b. So your center would be ab. It's actually just the opposite of what's inside, and then your radius would be the square root. So you're going to square root whatever that radius is. That's where you're of that big, and you're just going to estimate. Unfortunately, I don't have my protractor with me. All right, let's cruise on to this next one. From. Okay, so let's go to this first one. It says graph the circle with a center, with a circle which is centered at -1, -3, which is right here. And then it has a point on -7, -3. So therefore this is my circle. And then the other one is graph at -5, 1. And then it has a point at -2, -3. So this one would be the circle for this one. Okay, so what is the center of this circle? And all you're going to do is you are just estimating where it's at. So it kind of looks like it's at 3, -2 right there. So 3, -2. And of course we could find out if that's true just by finding the radius and making sure the radius is the same from that point to any point on the circle. Now it says that it passes through the point -1, -6. So it passes through this point. Wants to know what the radius is. Wants to know how much that is. So don't forget our Pythagorean theorem, where we would just set up a right triangle and then solve it, right? So this is 4 units, and this is 4 units, and this is my hypotenuse. So I just have to go, my radius is going to be 4 squared plus 4 squared. So my radius is going to be the square root of 32, which is approximately 5.7 units. Okay, so this next one, the center of the circle is at 5, -3, and it has a point on the circle at 3, 1. So this is your radius. So we want to know how big that radius is. So this is 3, 1, and this is 5, -3. Can you guys go for it and type in the chat what the radius is, please? Square root of 41. Anybody else have something different? Okay. Square root of 20. All right, everybody's getting square root of 20. Yes, you are correct. It is square root of 20 because this is 2 and this is 4. All right, let me add some people on here because I didn't realize Nigel and Emma have joined the group. All right. Okay, what is the center of the circle? Here we're just kind of guessing, and it looks like it's about 3, -2. So 3, -2. Now, if we want to, it says that the circle passes through -1, 6. So at -1, sorry, -1, -6, it passes through. So if we want to find this distance, we're just going to do a right triangle. And when we do a right triangle, this is 4 and this is 4, so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So our r is going to be 4 squared plus 4 squared, which gives us 32. But remember, we square root both sides, so r is going to be equal to square root of 32, which is approximately 5.7 units. So go ahead and pause and see if you can do the next one, and then come back when you're ready and I'll have the answer. Okay, here's the answer. Moving right along to this next one. So here it says the equation of circles given below. It wants to know what is the center. So remember I said it's like you can take that piece and set it equal to 0 so you can solve it. So y minus 6 equals 0, so y equals 6. So your center is -4, 6. And then what is the radius? So this is r squared equals 48. Therefore, r is equal to the square root of 48, which is approximately 6.93 units. Okay, so you guys go ahead and type in there for me what is the center and what is the radius of this next equation. Okay, Lindsay, what's the square root of 4/9? Good, Aaron. Wait, Mercedes, do the square root of 4/9. Don't square it. Good, 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 Emma. Good, good, Mackenzie. Abigail, good. There you go. That's it, Mercedes. Mm-hmm. You guys got it. Good. Good. Alex, I didn't realize you joined the group. Let me put you in there. There we go. All right. So it seems like you guys pretty much got this. Good, Nadia. Yeah, you. All right. Cool. So it's -7, -8, and it was the square root of 4/9. And the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 9 is 3. All right. Okay, the equation of the circle is given below. What is the center? Again, remember I said it's like you're solving it. So if you were solving this and set it equal to 0, x would be -4. Y minus 6 equals 0, so y equals 6. So the center would be -4, 6. What is the radius? So remember, this is the radius, so r squared equals 48. Therefore, r is equal to the square root of 48, which is approximately 6.93. Go ahead and pause, try the next one, and come back when you think you're ready. And here's the answer, which is approximately 0.66. Let's move on to the next one. And this next one, it says for us to go ahead and graph this circle. So my center is at -5, -2. So I'm going to go to -5, -2. And my radius is going to be 2. So just go 2 on each side. So there's the circle. Okay, tell me the center, tell me the radius of the next one, please. Yep, Lindsay, you got it. Yep.
Wow, good job, guys. Nice. So that means if my center is -3, -4, and my radius is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and then connect my dots. So something like that. Cool.
Okay, next problem. Graph the circle, but first we got to know what the center is. So the center is -5, -2, and the radius would be 2. So to graph this, we'll go to -5, -2, and then we're going to go 2 all the way around and connect your dots. Okay, go ahead and pause. When you're ready, go ahead and come back up for the checkpoint, and I'll have the answer for you. And here's the answer.
Move on to the next one. Okay, so here it says, write the equation of the circle graphed below. So we need to take a look at the center, and the center is at 2, -5, and then we need to find our radius. So there's a point there, so we need to draw our right triangle, and this is 2, and that's 1 unit. So our radius is going to be 2 squared plus 1 squared. So the radius is going to be the square root of 5. So if I put this into an equation, that means this should be x minus 2, because remember you do the opposite, y plus 5. And since this is r squared, it's going to be 5, because you are squaring a square root, which takes that square root away. All right, so this next one has a center at -1, -1, and it has a point at 6, -4. Find the radius for me, please. Oops, that's a positive one. So that should be negative. Anybody get something different from Lindsay? Okay. Anybody get something else? Yeah, it is Evelyn. Sorry, I wrote the wrong thing. All right, we got 3 different answers. Anybody else? All right. Okay. Ah, Charlotte and Angel, I didn't see you guys pop in. Nice. Yeah. If you think about these points, so this is 6 and this is -1, which means that's a total distance of 7. Because remember, with distance, you don't use negatives. And now I've got -4 and a +1, which is a total distance of 5. So you should have got the radius is the square root of 74, which would make radius squared 74. Questions over that, or is everybody good so far? All right.
Okay, write the equation of the circle graph below, or actually it's on the side. So we know that the center is at 2, -5. So if we're going to write that equation, we're going to do the opposite, x minus 2 squared plus, and then the opposite, y plus 5 squared. And then we need the radius, which is 1, 2. So we're going to square it. So it would be x minus 2 squared plus y plus 5 squared equals 4. All right, go ahead and pause, and when you're ready, come back and I'll have the answer ready for you. And here's the answer. All right, moving right along.
Okay, back in your Algebra 1 days, you did something called perfect squares, and good, James. Perfect squares is where you are multiplying the exact same thing times itself. So with that, what I want you to notice is I want you to notice that this here is 10, and half of 10 is 5. And 5 squared is 25. So again, this is -8, and half of -16 is -8, and -8 squared is 64. Okay, so that's how a perfect square goes. So using that, we're going to try an
So here, this is when we're talking about perfect squares. So when you're talking about perfect squares, you need to think about this here whole thing is squared. So what I want you to look at is, what is half of 10? It's 5. What is 5 squared? It's 25. That's how we get this. So let's do a problem.
equation here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it into the standard circle notation. So what we need to do is we need to isolate our x's and our y's. So here's my x and here's my x. Here's my y and here's my y. And this last piece is going to go on the end by itself. So I'm going to go for the x's first. So that means this is x squared plus 18x plus, and then I'll do my y's, which is y squared plus 14y equals, and if I take this over here, it gets the opposite sign, so -105. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do half of 18. So half of, oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, half of 18 is 9. 9 squared is 81. So what you're doing is you're doing whatever you do on the left side, you're doing on the right side. Remember, we can't be prejudiced, so whatever I do on the left, I have to do on the right. So if you think about it, I'm squaring. So now to do this one, y, half of 14 is 7, and 7 squared is 49. If you add that all up, you would get 25. So the center is -9, -7, and the radius is 5. All right, so let's do another problem.
So first thing I want you to do is I want you to isolate your variables. So let me get my highlighter. So we're going to do isolate the x's, isolate the y's, and take this over to the other side. So my x's would be x squared plus 18x plus my y's, which is y squared plus 14y, equals, and when we move this over, we change its sign. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve this. So x plus half of that, which is 9 squared. Now this squared is 81, so we're going to add that to the other side. Plus, and now we're going to go y half of 14, 7 squared. And 7 squared is 49. So the answer would be, so when you add this all up, you end up with 25. So what is the center? -9, -7. All right, cruising right along.
So we're going to do the exact same thing again, and we're going to isolate our x's and our y's and take that puppy over to the other side. So I'll do my x's first, x squared minus 10x, and then I'll do my y's, y squared minus 16y, and that's going to equal -53. So here, what that means is this is going to be half of -10. So x minus 5 squared. -5 squared is 25. Okay, let's go to the next one. Plus y, and half of -16 is -8, and -8 squared is 64. So this is going to equal 36. So now we've got a center of 5, 8 with a radius of 6. Everybody understand what we're doing? Cool.
Okay, so now we're going to do the exact same thing. Again, we're going to isolate the x's. We're going to isolate the y's and move this over here. So isolating the x's, whoops, wrong one. We would get x squared minus 10x plus, isolate the y's, y squared minus 16y equals -53. So now we're going to go x, half of -10 is -5 squared, and -5 squared is plus 25. And then here, y, half of -16 is -8, and -8 squared is 64. So your total is going to be 36. So it says, what is the radius? So the center, we know, is at 5, 8, that's a 5. Ooh, that's bad. Hold on, let me fix that. Okay. 5, 8 is the center. And the radius, we're going to do the square root, so the radius is 6.
Because now I want you guys to give it a go. So try this one. I want to know what is the radius and what is the center. Mm-hmm. I just feel like totally drained. I don't know what's wrong. I think I ate something or something. I don't know.
You don't feel like your chest hurts or anything?
Yeah, we went through that yesterday.
Oh, well, yeah, I was worried.
Because I was like, I got the corona.
You're like, yeah, you came. I tried calling you twice, and you were in answer, so I called Dad and he said you're sick.
Yeah. Didn't feel good. Nobody's got the center and the radius yet? Oh, Lindsay. Anybody get anything different? Your dog ate a candle. Sophia, your dog ate a candle.
No, she did not.
Yes, she did.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's toward it.
Oh, shit.
Sophia.
They can't hear me.
Yes, it can.
Did you see any of them thinking, oh? They didn't hear where they're from.
Nice, nice, Mercedes. Anybody else? Oh. Good, Jenny. What about the radius? Good, Madison. Good, Nigel. Yep, Aaron. Good, good, good. Ah, you guys have got this. I thought I would get you with the X, and there's nothing there.
How much longer are you on the computer?
Not too much longer. Okay, good. So you isolated x squared, and notice there's nothing else with it. And then y squared plus 6y equals 72. So obviously there is nothing to add for the x. So we've got x squared plus y plus 3 squared equals, and add a 9, 81. Good. So your center is 0, negative 3. And my radius is 9. Very nice. Not so hard.
All right, so this one is for you to do. Go ahead and pause, and when you're ready for it, just come on back, and the answer will be there. And here's the answer.
All right, good. So we're going to go ahead and find the center and the radius so that we are able to plot this one. So I've got x squared plus 4x plus y squared plus 8y equals negative 16. So this is x plus 2 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals, and we've got negative 16 plus 4 plus 16. So x plus 2 squared, y plus 4 squared equals 4. So our center is going to be at negative 2, negative 4, and our radius is going to be 2. All right, next one, go for it. Center and radius, please. Lindsay, you sure about that? The radius? There you go. Yes, Nadia. Okay, Lindsay, try it again. Mercedes, good. Nadia, radius? James, check your radius. Nigel, good. Madison, good. John, good. Okay, there you go, Lindsay. Evelyn, good. There you go, Scott. Good, Mackenzie. Yep, Aaron. Yeah, Olivia, you got it. Yep, good, Abigail. Good, Alex. Yes, James, good. Nadia, good. Okay, so it looks like everybody's pretty much on board here. plus y squared plus 4y equals 44. So this is x plus 1, and 1 squared is 1, plus y plus 2, and 2 squared is 4. So it gives me 49, which means my center is -1, -2, and my radius is 7. Yeah, so the radius, Marcus, if you take a look, so you just take this one here and square it and add it to what's on the other side. Take this one, the 2, square it, and add it to the other side. So 44 plus 1 plus 4 is 49. And then all you do is do the square root of it. Does that make sense, Marcus? All right, cool. Oops. No. Push.
Okay, let's do the next one. We're going to continue doing the same thing. Isolate your x's, isolate your y's, and bring the 16 over here. So isolating my x's, x squared plus 4x plus something. Isolating my y's, y squared plus 8y plus something equals -16. So x plus 2, half of 4, and 2 squared is plus 4, plus y plus half of 8, which is 4. 4 squared is 16. So the answer, the 16s cancel, is 4. So your center is at -2, -4, and your radius is 2. Go ahead and pause, try the next one, and come back when you're ready. Okay, here's the answers, and I forgot to graph them too. The first one is green and the second one is yellow. All right, so to wrap it up, all you need to know is all of these formulas, and there's a formula sheet. If you need it, it's, well, whatever. If you need the formula sheet, there is one. All right, see you later. All right, so to wrap it up, all you need to know is all of these formulas, and there's a formula sheet. If you need it, it's, well, whatever. If you need the formula sheet, there is one. All right, see you later.